So after 10 years of working on this, thank you all for being part of it. Thank you all for contributing to this moment and to this day. Cardano has a constitution. Cardano has a government. Every ADA holder now has a voice. And because of that, Cardano is the global standard.
Oh, what's up, Ada Nation? Oh, welcome into Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. As you've just heard it from the man himself, Cardano stepping into a brand new era with governance officially online and the first ever fully ratified Cardano Constitution coming into effect. Now, I'm going to break down exactly what this means for you as an ADA holder, exactly what we can expect moving forward, what brand new governance actions are going to be expected or at least unlocked in the next couple of days, and exactly what key dates to keep in mind. Now, before we go any further, if it's your first time stopping by the channel, my goal is to help you find your footing here within the Cardano and Bitcoin ecosystems. If you appreciate content just like this, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. It's by far one of the easiest ways to support me here as a content creator. If you want more, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave those down below. Now, if you want to extend your support for the channel even further, consider delegating with either of the two Dapp Central stake pools, which both share the ticker, a DAPP. Without any further ado, let's jump right on in here. This was posted earlier today, where we have the official on-chain governance vote in order to turn the interim constitution, which was voted upon by the majority of the delegates and DREPs in the ecosystem, to now be the first ever fully on-chain verified Cardano constitution. So this was proposed back in epoch number 537, with the vote expiring in epoch number 543. And we've now reached consensus, or the approval rate that we needed from the DREPs, which was a threshold of 75%. And then we have a 100% buy-in from all of the members sitting at the ICC, or the Interim Constitutional Committee. So jumping over to the official Cardano Foundation Twitter handle, it states, the Cardano Constitution has now been ratified. This milestone sets the boundary or the foundation for the on-chain governance system, ensuring clear rules, transparency, accountability, all in decision-making here in the Cardano ecosystem. Now, this is the key and probably the most important thing to keep in mind here, is that this will be fully enacted on February 23rd of 2025, again, shaping how Cardano evolves, fully guided by its community. Now, I've released a little bit of content here the last few days. I took a break, but there's content about the ongoing annual budget discussions. There's also the 2025 roadmap released by IOG. And then there's also the 2030 Intersect roadmap, which has been released. Now, with respect to the annual budget that's also being proposed by Intersect, I want to be clear and concise about who's actually proposing these separate things. But those are just some of the key, or some of the initial conversations that we've had so far about the future of Cardano, where again, anybody from the network can finally weigh in and have their voice heard, as long as they're an ADA holder. Now, there's a couple of ways to join in on the conversation. Again, I've covered this in a couple of other videos, but you can either sign up and participate in governance as a delegate representative or a DREP. You can also sign up or participate as a SPO or stake pool operator. You can also be a member of the Constitutional Committee, or the ICC, the Interim Constitutional Committee, or you can just be a traditional ADA holder who's delegated their voting power or their voting rights to a DREP in order to vote on your behalf. Now, last, there is the opportunity to also just be a non-delegating ADA holder, meaning that you still hold ADA, but you don't necessarily want that to be used within governance. Obviously, I think we need as much participation as we can get across the board. And if I'm not mistaken, we now have over 8 billion ADA out of the roughly 35 billion circulating ADA, which has now been put towards governance, or at least delegated to a delegate representative to use within voting and governance actions in the future. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper here into the actual vote and take a look at some of the numbers, where we currently have the DREPs in support of the proposed governance action to make the interim constitution the traditional constitution, coming in with an overwhelming majority of 84%, which again are in agreement of that. The threshold that we needed to have met was 75%, so we're good there. And then we've got all 7 members of the ICC who have all voted yes in terms of whether or not this particular governance action is constitutional or not. So pretty big news here. Of course, Charles Hoskinson, I just played that clip there earlier. Happy. He's been working on this for over 10 years. And it really does set Cardano apart here, given the fact that it's one of the few blockchains that has stuck to the core principles of exactly what blockchain technology was meant to do. And so again, this is supposed to be a system where anybody can chip in, which is supposed to be fair, which is supposed to be democratic, which is supposed to be decentralized, which Cardano has met. Now, another key piece is that it has to be secure, which of course we know Cardano is secure as well. So far, so good. And yes, things have taken a little bit longer than expected to develop, but we are meeting all of our milestones with Cardano officially in the era of Voltaire. Now, I'm going to keep this video pretty brief here, but if you want to read the constitution, I should say, I'll leave the link to it down below. It's available at constitution.gov.tools, where they've got basically the entire document, and you can take a look for it or take a look at it for yourself. But it's extremely thorough, breaking down some of the key roles, exactly what we can expect. There's talks here about amendments, the interim period, the actual blockchain itself, stake pool operators, core blockchain tenants, etc. It is a lot. I'll probably have to break this down in separate videos, but an exciting moment indeed for the entire ecosystem. Now, exactly what does this bring into the network? I've talked about this at length in other videos, so I'm going to keep this one relatively short, but it now unlocks 7 different governance actions where different members or different roles, I mentioned those earlier, the DREP, the CC, the SPOs, and delegating ADA holders, have the ability to chime in depending on which action is being proposed. Now, there's actually a brand new treasury tax cut action, which has also been proposed, which I'm going to break down in a separate video, but that's going to aim to essentially boost the amount of ADA staking rewards going out to delegating ADA holders just like yourself. Now, if you aren't already delegating your ADA, it's by far one of the easiest ways and one of the most passive ways to earn your ADA or to earn on your ADA within the ecosystem. Of course, check out the Dapp Central Stake Pool if you're looking for a home to delegate your ADA to. But that's just one of the many actions that we're going to start to see rolling in here as governance finally picks up. If you want to keep up with governance actions, I personally would recommend that you go ahead and check out the ADA Stat platform. They do an amazing job of breaking down all of the existing actions, with the most recent one being the proposal to decrease the Cardano treasury tax from 20% to 10%. Again, I'm going to have a separate video breaking all of that detail down here. So definitely make sure to hit that like, turn on those bell notifications if you appreciate content just like this. Now, as we get ready to roll out here, keep in mind that people can now actually propose their own brand new constitution as well. So just because this is the first ever doesn't mean that it can't actually change, but keep in mind that it has to go through that process where we have to get the weigh-in from the Constitutional Committee to make sure that, number one, whatever else is proposed in the future is constitutional. And then number two, we have to make sure that we get the majority of the DREPs who actually back whatever proposed constitution comes forth in the future. So if you're within the Cardano ecosystem, now is your time to shine. Now is your time to have your voice heard. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to briefly highlight and review this breaking news. If you want more information about just the governance actions, who can vote for what, etc., I've got a fully dedicated playlist. I'll leave the link to it down below, but that'll do it here for today's brief update. As always, if you found this to be helpful, insightful, if you learned anything along the way, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If you want more, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, or if I just missed anything, feel free to leave a note down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.